Hello boys and girls, good day. This is Aunty Sonia. Welcome to my YouTube channel again. Remember, like, subscribe and share. Leave a comment below and turn on your notification bell so you won't miss a video. This new story is called The Hermit and the Boy Who Couldn't Stop Laughing, an African fable by K Christopher Toussaint. There was once an old hermit who lived at the top of a densely forested mountain that overlooked the bustling West African city. Old hermit seldom went down to the city because each time he did, people stopped and gawked at him, which made him very uncomfortable and sad. The old hermit was not of ordinary appearance. He was odd looking. He never shaved. He wore the same old dirty ragged clothes every day, and his legs were bent and crooked, so that he walked with an almost comic shuffle. But perhaps the most striking features of the old hermit was his head. It was much larger than normal. One day, the old hermit ran out of his favorite pipe tobacco and ventured bravely down to the city to buy new supply. Upon seeing the old hermit, local merchants, shoppers, residents, and passers-by all stopped and stared at him in total amazement. Although the old hermit had grown accustomed to such stares, he was nevertheless overcome with feelings and chagrin and estrangement, but determined to weather the humiliation, as he always managed to do. The old hermit braced himself forlornly on his cane and continued his way. As the old hermit hopped and shuffled his way along the busy streets, he met a 9-year-old boy whose name was Osade. Osade was quite a playful lad who sometimes amused himself by teasing or making fun of old people, especially those who looked different or were physically challenged. Osade was in the company of a young couple from a nearby village whom he happened to meet on the road as the couple were returning from the town market. As they were passing the old hermit on the street, the young couple urged Osade not to stare at him, but to turn his head the other way until they passed. Above all else, little boy, the couple cautioned, do not laugh at that strange old man going there. But Osade, seeing the old hermit shuffling along with his upping walk and oversized head, thought him the funniest sight he had ever seen. Unable to contain himself, Osade burst into a loud, almost taunting laughter. Ha 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 ha. This is really too funny, too funny. Ha 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 ha. At first, the old hermit pretended not to hear Osade's laughter or derisive remarks. He even tried to speed up his shuffle to avoid the little boy teasing. But Osade ran after the old man, pointing and wagging his finger at him, and even rolling over on the ground, holding his belly, shaking outrageously with hearty laughter. Ha 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 ha. The young couple tried frantically to stop Osade from laughing at the old man, to whisk him away, but Osade was not remotely in a listening mood. He was having too much fun. Osade was so enraptured with his prank that he began to dance and skip around the fleeing old man, teasing and taunting him as he fled. The old hermit tried his best to get away, but he could not. Osade was just too quick for him. Then suddenly, without a slightest warning, the old hermit stopped abruptly and turned to face Osade, angrily snapping his long, thin fingers at him. Little boy, the old hermit thundered. As you are now laughing, so shall you continue laughing for the rest of your life. Osade, who was by now completely caught up in his audacious frolicking, was finally restrained by the young couple, who wrestled him to the ground and sat on top of him, allowing the highly aggravated old man to go on his way. Soon afterward, Osade and the young couple reached Osade's village. The young couple took Osade straight to his parents and reported what had happened between him and the strange old man whom they had met on the street in the city. The parents, upon hearing Osade's behavior, became very upset with him. Listen, Osade, scolded the mother vigorously. You know very well that we do not disrespect our elders, or anyone for that matter. That's right, shouted the father. Your behavior today toward the old man is not only wrong, it is totally unacceptable, gripping Osade firmly by his arm. The father said sternly, listen to me carefully, son. Upon your return from school every day for 1 month, you shall sweep and clean the compound thoroughly. Then fetch a cord of firewood from the village. But seeing that Osade was still laughing, the parents became extremely worried. They desperately hoped that the old hermit had not really cast a spell on their son. Not being sure, the parents ran quickly to the village chief and poured out their incredible story to him. Upon learning the incident, the chief immediately sent the parents to consult with the village ochre, who was a kindly old storyteller with some rather unusual abilities. Later at the house of the ochre, Osade's parents waited anxiously to hear what he had to say concerning their son's fate. Finally, the ochre emerged from his hut, carrying an old leather pouch. The ochre sat down on the ground in front of his hut and motioned for Osade's parents to sit with him. He then emptied his leather pouch onto his hand and scattered the contents on the ground in front of them. There were small cowries, shell, pebbles, and dry pieces of palm kernel, small pieces of cola nut, and other strange looking objects that he used in some of his ceremony he performed. After a few minutes of carefully examining those objects, the ochre told the parents that the hermit had indeed placed a spell on their son, because the boy had persistently laughed and teased the old hermit. The ochre told them that the hermit's spell was not an ordinary one, but a special kind that he believed could not be lifted by anyone. Upon hearing the awkward and ominous prediction, Osade's parents became sadder than ever. Seeing their great agony, the ochre told the parents to take courage because there was an outside chance that the parents themselves could do something to break the spell. He quickly cautioned that what he had in mind might not work. He told the parents to have their son undergo a series of ancestral ceremonies that would require the use of amulets and various precious stones. He told them to observe strictly all the rules and restrictions of these ceremonies and then simply to hope for the best. So Osade's parents, following the ochre's instructions, set out immediately to see their son through the ceremony and rituals that they hoped would lift the spell. But after a whole month, Osade was still laughing. His parents were now very weary and bewildered. Then they had spent all their money and all they could beg or borrow from friends or neighbors to have the ceremony performed, but to no avail. They had done all they could do. Then one day a great wonder occurred. Sade abruptly stopped laughing. News of the happening brought the entire village to see. No one could believe it or dared to try to explain it. For months Asade had been laughing continuously, but now he had stopped. He was normal again, except for his head. It had suddenly become very large, like that of the old hermit. But Asade didn't seem to mind, nor did his parents. Asade's parents was very happy that he had finally stopped laughing. His sudden physical disfigurement didn't seem to matter much. Parents felt that Osade's enlarged head was a small price to pay compared to having to go through his life laughing every minute of his day. No one except the okra knew what or who had broken the spell cast by the old hermit. Everyone else was totally mystified by the happening. Everyone had believed that the spell was one that could not be broken. But the okra had read the signs early and realized that the only person who was remotely capable of lifting such a spell was the very person who cast it in the first place. The okra, believing that Osade's fate was in the hands of the old hermit, had secretly gone to see him and had entreated him to release Osades from the spell, giving the hermit his personal assurance that the boy was truly contrite and repentant for what he had done. Humbled but not daunted by his odd appearance, Osade kept up his normal routine of his daily life, including attending the village school every day, as did all other grown up in the village. His teacher, Miss Itohan Adebere, disapproved of Osada's behavior towards the old hermit. However, she felt deep sympathy and compassion for Osade and thus treated him the same as all the other students in the school. Osade naturally was exceedingly grateful for that. Tolerance, respect, and humility. As might be expected, Osade's oversized head still made him stand out among his friends and playmates, who sometimes stood and gawked at him, as nearly everyone did at the old hermit. Whenever he went down to the city, Osade had learned to accept his oversized head and tried to be brave about it. But the constant staring of everyone always made him feel uncomfortable and different. The way the hermit must have felt whenever everybody gawked at him. Curiously though, Osade's friends and playmates never mocked and ridiculed him about his condition. They accepted him freely and allowed him to play sports and games with them without teasing of any kind. Indeed, all of them had heard of Osade's encounter with the strange old man who lived on the mountain, and all felt lucky to have Osade there in their midst. Osade wished million times over that he had not laughed at the odd-looking old man whom he had come across that day in the city. He wished he could turn back the hands of time and undo everything that had happened, but that was not to be. His encounter with the whole hermit and his immediate aftermath had affected him profoundly, so much so that he had undergone a complete change of attitude. He had suddenly become exceedingly polite to everyone, especially towards people who are old, feeble, and different. Then, one bright morning, Osade awoke to a wonderful surprise. His head had returned to its normal size. Osade was so happy that he jumped up and down with great joy, running through the house, walking up to his parents, waking up his parents to see the unexpected happening, and darting outside into the compound for the neighbors to see. He shouted joyously on top of his lungs, "Look at my head, everyone! I'm normal again! Look at me! Can you believe it? It's great! Wow! I am happy!" Once again, the throng of villagers came out to see Osade. All stared in wonderment at the boy who had paid so much to learn such a basic value. All shared in his moment of rapture and great joy. Again, boys and girls, the moral of this story is never make fun of people. Bullying is real and it can have great depression on people. It can put people into depression. People can commit suicide as a result. People can be hurt as a result, and it's a long-term hurt. People never forget these things. So have a heart. Have a heart. Take care of one another, regardless of how we look, color, race, or creed. Just be nice. Later.